when people say you produce wine in the middle of nowhere, that's kind of what Malgas, wine of origin, is. It's far from Cape Town, and you have to be a pioneer, an adventurer, to think about going and identify terroir there. And I think that's what David Trafford has been doing, going for Sijnn, and as well looking at blends, reflecting what the terroir can give. It's a very unusual blend. We're tasting now the Sijnn White blend 2019, which is mostly Chenin Blanc, about 84%, Viognier, and a little touch of Roussanne and Verdelho, but only 2%, so not necessarily spicing up the blend, but sometimes we know that 2% can change everything. What do you have in your glass, Kathy?
So, in the lineup we've had so far, this is definitely one of the darkest of the white wines that we've had. I think representing the Chenin and the Viognier in it, that take the colour from the skins, as well as just a little bit of new oak. I think there's 10% new oak here. So it could, if it had a medium toast, it could be giving a little bit of colour. On the nose, definitely Chenin. Beautiful apple compo or apple pie, but some kind of stewed apples, but stewed apples in that freshness when your granny was baking the apples just before putting them in the pie, or she was making apple sauce to go with the pork for Sunday roast. So there's definitely that intense bruised apple.
We're French, we don't do that.
What do you have with your pork?
Not apple puree, only with the black sausage.
Oh, that would go really well too, absolutely. But then also on the nose you get, it's a little bit more floral than I would expect from a Chenin. But there's also some white peaches, some cling peaches. So I think a really nice ripe expression of Chenin that he's got here. And I don't want to second guess David, but I would imagine that the Verdelho and the Roussanne are being used to enhance the acidity of the really ripe Chenin and perhaps some really ripe Viognier, unless he's early picked that. On the palate, to confirm Chenin, an acidity, a beautiful acidity, but hang on a second, it's not pure malic acidity. So there's got to be something else in this blend. It's not this blunt malic acidity that rides over your palate like a wave. It has been tightened down, if we want to stick with the wave analogy, more like a riptide. So it's a riptide that's moving away from the beach. It's a very good
analogy, I think. Yeah.
And I think that also is a potential indicator that this wine might have other varieties in the blend. I don't necessarily pick up any of the Viognier in terms of apricot, either on the nose or the palate.
That may be the link to the cling peach.
Aha.
Maybe by extension, the touch of this apricot on a cooler climate, because Malgas, I mean, what surprised me with that one, which is 84% Chenin, is if we look at apple as a marker for Chenin, it's ripe apple, but it's not overripe apple and it's not green apple. And I think the touch of the Viognier helps by, Viognier is supposed to be lower acidity and more viscous middle palate, is actually just taming the Chenin into giving a more civilized expression of it.
And if you do taste the wine again and take a little sip, there is a slight bitterness or phenolic texture that I also get from Viognier. So that might be a marker as well to this wine. It's actually a very interesting blend.
It's a very interesting blend, and like any blend, you should not try to, I mean, it's important to identify the component when you try to identify the wine blind, but for trade purposes, you look at the final result, and the final result, it works.
It's the whole package.
The whole package works very well.
The whole package works really well.
Thank you.